Tuscaloosa to frenzy.
Firing. Touchdown, Alabama.
SEC champions, Alabama, Crimson Tide.
We talked about Alabama.
Step back three. Money. And the Alabama Crimson Tide will roll into the Final Four.
Roll Tide!
Roll Tide, and welcome to TideTV This Week. I'm Roger Hoover, joined by Mary Reagan Bolig. And Mary Reagan, it's great to have you back co-hosting the show this week. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, Roger. So excited. I can't believe we're finally in the third weekend of October. I know you're excited. I'm excited too about this weekend. But before we get into that, let's talk about what all happened last week.
Yeah, the Crimson Tide were back at home this past weekend as Alabama took on the South Carolina Gamecocks. It was only the second meeting between the two schools since 2010.
Alabama won that last matchup 47-23 in Columbia back in 2019. But going into Saturday's matchup, the Crimson Tide were 13-3 all-time against the Gamecocks, including an 8-1 record in Tuscaloosa.
Alabama opened the ball game with a 9-play, 75-yard drive, finished off with a 1-yard keeper to the right side for Jalen Milroe for the touchdown. In the second, Justice Haynes made it 14-0 Crimson Tide with a 2-yard run up the middle.
But then South Carolina responded, scoring 12 points in the final minute 37 of the half. After a 36-yard touchdown, the Gamecocks recorded a safety to make it 14-9. Then after the free kick, Alex Herrera closed out the half with a 37-yard field goal to make it just a 2-point game in the half, 14-12.
South Carolina took its first lead of the game in the middle of the third. Raheem Sanders took it from 1 yard out to give the Gamecocks a 20-19 lead, but a fumble recovery, LT Overton, helped Alabama with a 7-yard touchdown run from Jalen Milroe. 2-point conversion would fail, but it was the Crimson Tide back in front, 2019.
Alabama added the lead with a 10-play, 67-yard drive, and Milroe connected with a wide-open Jeremy Bernard for a 34-yard score. But that put Alabama up 8, 27-19. South Carolina responded with a 31-yard touchdown of their own to get within 2. The Gamecocks needed the 2-point conversion to tie it, but it would be no good.
Needing an onside kick to have any chance, South Carolina got the bounce, but the final play, an interception by Damani Jackson, and he eventually got out of the end zone, and the Crimson Tide could celebrate this win as Alabama picks up the 27-25 final.
Another game down to the wire. We're kind of getting accustomed to those. I think there's some things that we can certainly do to make sure that doesn't get to that point. But we always talk about finding a way to win. And as many times it maybe looked like we weren't, we did.
The Tide is now getting ready to take on Tennessee this week as they prepare out on the practice field. Our Christopher England caught up with one of the Tide's defensive linemen for this week's First Off the Field.
And he joins us now from the Tide's indoor practice facility.
I'm Christopher England with TideTV, joined by defensive lineman Tim Smith. We're here inside the Hank Cripps indoor practice facility. Tim, fresh off the practice field, man, that weather we're just talking about as you walked up is beautiful out there. It's football weather right now. What's it like out there?
Pretty cool, man. Real chilly. Got a breeze out, you know what I'm saying? It get a little more difficult to breathe out there running all around, but for the most part, I love it. I'm a big dude. I don't like sweating unless I have to, unless I'm playing the sport I love, but I love the winter. It gives you a different vibe and a different energy.
Let's talk about practice out there this week. You bounced back, got a win. It was a crazy game against South Carolina. You got a win, though, this past week. So what's practice? What's the vibe like out there this week?
Yeah, right now everybody's just trying to make sure we're honed in. And like I said a million times, understanding exactly what we got to do, making sure we understand everything that we got to do. Everybody trying to play more dominant and physical, whether it's with our teammates, but we're still taking care of each other, but having a sense of urgency about everything that we do.
Every time you step out on the field, everybody's going to bring their best shot against you. They got Alabama circled on the schedule. This week, it's a big rivalry game against Tennessee. This game means a lot to a lot of people. What does this game mean to you?
It's another game, man. That's another opportunity for me to go out and showcase my dominance, and how much I prepared throughout the week and how hard I practice. So, not to take anything away from the rivalry. Everybody knows what it is, but it's one of those things where what's known don't need to be said. So, just practicing and making sure I'm dominant.
Tennessee going into the game, they're second in scoring offense in the SEC, just ahead of Alabama, about a half point per game. They're number 3 in scoring defense, so it's going to be a pretty good matchup there. What can you tell me about, Tennessee?
They have a really good young quarterback. At that right side of the line, their guard, center, and tackle, they have some good experience. Good young and mobile quarterback as well. So, just making sure we keep him in the pocket, you know what I'm saying? Keep him under control, making sure he feels uncomfortable at all times, no matter what he's doing. This is a new year, a whole new team. We're just trying to focus on how we can go in and be dominant and win this game. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't want to take anything away from the rivalry, but we understand that, yes, it's a big game, but it's the next game as well. So we're trying to go 1-0 and make sure, you know what I'm saying, we do everything in our power to come away with victorious.
Appreciate it, Tim. Good luck this weekend in Roll Tide.
Thank you.
For defensive lineman Tim Smith, I'm Christopher England reporting from the Hank Chris Indoor Practice Facility.
Tide TV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, visit your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
It is just as loud here at Coleman Coliseum tonight.
I thought the whole crowd was unbelievable. I wouldn't miss anything you could possibly be at this season because it's going to be a special season.
Alabama fans at Coleman Coliseum have been so good all year long.
What a scene at Coleman Coliseum.
Let's fill Coleman every time we get a chance to fill Coleman.
What an electric crowd here.
Let's just support this team because it's not that often that you get to put a team of this caliber together.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. The 7th-ranked Alabama football team was back in Bryant-Denny Stadium this past Saturday as they took on the South Carolina Gamecocks.
It was a really wild finish for the Tide. Let's take an all-access look at the highlights along with a special visit from one of the Crimson Tide's greats before the game.
As a player, experienced, had a lot of success. Let's give a welcome here for Coach Silver.
I want you guys to know some things about me, about playing here in Alabama. I want to talk to you about expectations. You and I, we're the same. We're all in the same fraternity, the fraternity of that crimson jersey. For y'all, I don't know a lot of you guys, but I respect you because the minute you signed that scholarship to come to Alabama, that told me something about you. That told me that you weren't ordinary. That told me that you were special people. Because when you put that crimson jersey on, you got to be special. Because the expectations of wearing that jersey, it ain't like nowhere else in the country. It ain't like nowhere else in pro football. All any of the guys that's ever worn this jersey for you, is when you put that, when you look in the mirror tomorrow morning and you put that jersey on, you know who you represent. You represent your family. You represent me. You represent every man. You represent Joe Namath, Musso, Ozzie Newsome, Julio Jones. Every man that's ever worn that jersey is pulling for you, and he is in that locker room with you. And he is on that sideline with you. And you play your ass off one play at a time. And you strive to be perfect, because that's what wearing that red jersey means.
Weather day here.
I'm all about 11 a.m. local kicks right now. This is absolutely perfect.
Milroe on first down. Gets it out quickly, and turning the corner is Bernard. And Jeremy Bernard breaks free and gets a big explosive for Bama early on.
Looks downfield, bounces to his right, now fires downfield. Cole Adams makes the grab, and Damian Square back-to-back big plays in the passing game.
He pulls it to the corner and in with ease. 1-yard touchdown run, Jalen Milroe.
He gets the snap at one. Quick out right side. Bama trying to make a stop, and they do. Shy of the first down, and Bama's defense turns away the Gamecocks.
First and goal. Haynes into the end zone. Touchdown, Tide. Dellers gobbled up and taken down again. Tim Smith has been so active, Jesse. Down. He is pressure. That ball's loose. That is recovered by Alabama. It's being ruled a forced fumble by Campbell, and Koo with the recovery.
For South Carolina. Sellers, plenty of time. No, he doesn't. He goes down. Brought down by Jamarian Latham.
Ball is loose. The ball is loose. A fight for the ball. And Alabama's got it. First and goal. Milroe with blockers in front. Milroe into the end zone.
Goes to Jalen. Looking downfield. Got a man. Bernard, catch me. Touchdown, Alabama.
Sellers. Is there some magic in his arm? Intercepted. Damani Jackson.
Get stuck together, okay? Because we win together, we lose together, we fight together, we fight with each other, we fight for each other. You with me on that?
Hey man, get better on me, get better on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Get better!
Tide TV This Week is presented by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide, the University of Alabama, where legends are made.
Roll Tide, roll! The Alabama Crimson Tide. Cunningham again. Shot good, and she's fouled. There she goes, and there's Barker. Timmons there. Setting her team up. Possibly the dagger for Alabama. Right to the rim. Got it. Kicks. Nye, right corner. 3. She hits it. Nye steals the inbounds. Left side to Timmons. Layup good. It's a 2-point game.
Welcome back. After a win at home over South Carolina, the Alabama football team hits the road this weekend.
Alabama travels to Knoxville to take on the Tennessee Volunteers. For a preview of this third Saturday in October matchup, our Christopher England joins us once again.
It's the third Saturday in October, Alabama and Tennessee, one of the oldest rivalries in college football. It will be the 107th meeting between these two schools, the second most games against an opponent in Crimson Tide history. Alabama owns a 60-38 series advantage, winning 16 out of the last 17 meetings, including the last matchup in Tuscaloosa this past season. In that meeting in Bryant-Denny, from the second quarter on, Alabama outscored Tennessee 34-7. Jihad Campbell put the exclamation mark on the victory with this fumble recovery returned for touchdown as the Crimson Tide rolled over the Vols 34-20. Alabama owns a 27-21 all-time series advantage at Neyland Stadium, but the Vols did win the last matchup there back in 2022. Tennessee snapped Alabama's 15-game win streak over Tennessee as the Vols kicked the game-winning field goal as time expired. Tennessee enters the matchup 5-1 on the season and 2-1 in SEC play. The Vols' lone loss on the season came at the hands of the Arkansas Razorbacks. Down 14-3 in the third, the Razorbacks scored the final 19 points of the game to defeat the Vols 19-14. Josh Heupel is in his 4th season as the Tennessee head coach, and as the head of the Vol program, he is 1-2 all-time against the Crimson Tide. Tennessee is 2nd in the SEC and 9th in the nation in scoring offense, averaging over 42 points per game. That's just a half point better than the Crimson Tide. Tennessee boasts the top rushing attack in the SEC at over 246 yards per game. Junior running back Dylan Sampson leads the conference in rushing with 699 yards, averaging over 116 yards per contest. Sampson also leads the conference with 15 rushing touchdowns. That's 4 more than second-place Jalen Milroe. Nico Iamaleava leads the Vols offense and is a dual-threat quarterback that is 3rd on the team with 196 yards gained on the ground and ranks 8th in the SEC, averaging 203 yards passing per game. He has thrown 7 touchdowns on the year with 3 interceptions. While quarterback Jalen Milroe leads the SEC with 23 total touchdowns, and the Crimson Tide is 10th in the nation in scoring offense, averaging over 41 points per game. This is going to be their toughest test to date. The Tennessee defense ranks 2nd in the nation in total defense, allowing just 249 yards per game, while also ranking 4th in the nation in scoring defense, giving up just over 10 points per contest. but this will also be the toughest test for the Tennessee defense so far this season. Despite those impressive rankings, if you look a little closer at the numbers, against their 5 FBS opponents, only one offense ranks in the top 50 in total offense, and that is the Arkansas Razorbacks at number 8. Florida is 59th, while the other 3 opponents rank 100th or worst in total offense in the nation, with Oklahoma ranked 126 and Kent State dead last in the FBS at 133. Kickoff for the 50th ever meeting between Alabama and Tennessee played in Knoxville is set for 2:30. The game will be broadcast on ABC. Stay with us. We'll have more Tide TV this week coming up next.
It is just as loud here at Coleman Coliseum tonight.
I thought the whole crowd was unbelievable. I wouldn't miss anything you could possibly be at this season because it's going to be a special season.
Alabama fans at Coleman Coliseum have been so good all year long.
What a scene at Coleman Coliseum.
Let's fill Coleman every time we get a chance to fill Coleman.
What an electric crowd here.
Let's just support this team because it's not that often that you get to put a team of this caliber together.
Welcome back. I'm Mary Reagan Bullock. He's Roger Hoover, and this is Tide TV This Week. The Alabama soccer team has been through some tough battles already this season with 5 ties in their first 6 SEC matchups.
Could the Tide get their first SEC win of the season this past Sunday against Texas A&M? Our Paige Riley joins us now for the answer, and I think you have some good news for us, Paige.
Yeah, Roger, I have really exciting news as Alabama dominated the Texas A&M Aggies this past Sunday as they picked up their first SEC win of the season. Gianna Paul was the difference maker as she scored the only goal of the match in the 21st minute. Paul scored off a pass from Nadia Ramadan to bury her 10th goal of the season. Alabama tallied an impressive 21 shots in the game, firing off 17 attempts in the second half. And Crimson Tide goalkeeper Ellie Laney had a strong defensive performance, recording 5 saves to secure the Tide's first shutout in league play. After the Tide's matchup against South Carolina, they will return home next Thursday to take on the Florida Gators for a 7 p.m. matchup. Roger and Mary Reagan, back to you.
Thank you, Paige. The Alabama volleyball team started their week off on Sunday at Arkansas. After dropping the first set, the Tide jumped out to a 12-7 lead in set 2. But the Razorbacks battled back to tie it up at 22 and eventually win set 2, 25-22. The Razorbacks closed out the final set 25-16 for the 3-0 win.
Alabama returned to Foster Auditorium on Wednesday night as they took on the 25th ranked Auburn. The Tigers took a 2-1 lead, but a hard-fought 26-24 win in set 4 sent the match into a deciding 5th set.
Crimson Tide led 8-4 at the halfway mark, but the Tigers battled back to tie it at 13. Alabama reached set point twice before an ace from Natalie Rapetti gave the Crimson Tide the 16-14 upset win over the 25th ranked Tigers. It was Alabama's first top 25 win since 2016. Huge win for Rashinda Reed and the Tide. Alabama softball opened its fall schedule on Sunday afternoon at Rhodes Stadium with a couple of shutout wins against Itawamba Community College. All 5 pitchers saw time in the circle as they combined for 14 scoreless innings.
The Tide picked up a 9-0 win in Game 1 and won 15-0 in Game 2. Kristen White was 4 for 5 with 4 RBIs, while Salyn Hawkins led the team with 5 runs driven in.
The Alabama men's basketball team held their Final Four banner reveal this past Friday night at Coleman Coliseum. The banner was hung to recognize the Crimson Tide's first ever men's basketball Final Four appearance this past year. The team also received their Final Four rings. Along with the ceremony, there was also a dunk contest plus a 3-point contest and then a scrimmage for all of the fans.
Alabama is ranked at 2 in the nation in the Associated Press preseason top 25 poll.
Crimson Tide also picked to win the SEC, and Mark Sears was selected as the SEC Preseason Player of the Year this week at SEC Tip-Off in Birmingham.
Let's go all access for the Tide for their trip to the SEC Media Day.
All the way down to the end, and then you can start right here.
I like that. That's the one right there.
Yes.
Roger, it's not just the men's team, but the Alabama women's basketball team is also ranked for the first time in 25 years. The Tide is ranked 24th in the AP preseason top 25.
Christy Curry's squad also took part in SEC tip-off in Birmingham on Wednesday. Let's take an all-access look at their trip to Beeham.
Hey y'all, we just arrived at SEC Media Day.
Follow us along on our journey.
The off-season has been great. We've been really putting in some work.
So talk a lot about grit, love, and gratitude in our program. They epitomize that.
And they bring a lot of toughness and tenacity.
Our grit, love, and gratitude every single day. Being grateful, loving each other.
We've got a lot of newcomers that are really going to impact us this year. Mac and cheese.
There's no other answer to mac and cheese is the best.
Focus on the moment. Be better today than we were yesterday.
Ways of great love and gratitude. That's what Christy brings. That's what she brought to Alabama.
And I want my team to exemplify that as our staff is. We're going to work really, really hard to make sure we're taking care of each and every day.
And that's a wrap.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, roll! The Alabama Crimson Tide. Cunningham again. Shot good and she's fouled. There she goes and there's Barker. Timmons there. Setting her team up.
Possibly the dagger for Alabama. Right to the rim. Got it.
Kicks. Nye, right corner three. She hits it. Nye steals the inbounds. Left side to Timmons. Layup good. It's a 2-point game.
Could this be an opportunity? Gianna Paul. Paul puts it home! Gianna Paul with her 10th goal of the year. It's Alabama with a 1-goal advantage.
Snap goes to Jalen. Looking downfield. Got a man. Bernard, catch made. Touchdown, Alabama. Sellers looking, firing it deep downfield. Safety is there. Jackson intercepts it. The clock has hit 0. Jackson slides down. And for the love, let's get out of here.
Overpass dropped home by AG, and Alabama takes set 1. Serve is right on the line, and Ace gives Alabama set point. Back-to-back aces for Campbell, who didn't have any all season long, sends us to a 5th set. And an ace! An upset on rivalry night for Alabama's first-ranked win in 8 years.
And those were our ATI Plays of the Week.
Now let's take a look at our Players of the Week brought to you by Legacy of Hope. Gianna Paul scored the game-winning goal in Alabama's first SEC win of the season. Paul's goal was her 10th of the season and moves her into 3rd place in program history with 26 career goals.
In football, Jeremy Bernard scored the go-ahead touchdown for the Crimson Tide in the 2-point win over South Carolina. The 34-yard touchdown reception was Bernard's 3rd touchdown of the year.
And going into the defense, Damani Jackson was dumb money as he made the game-winning interception as South Carolina recovered the onside kick. It was Jackson's 2nd pick of the year.
Congratulations to our Players of the Week, brought to you by Legacy of Hope.
An exciting game against South Carolina, and it should be an exciting one this weekend in Knoxville as well, Roger.
Indeed, it will be. Looking forward to that, and we'll have a full recap of the 3rd Saturday in October on next week's show.
Hope to see you back here next week for that and much more.
See you next week, everyone. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
This has been a presentation from Learfield,